lettuce. Wow, hello Kate. How are you doing today?
Not the best, but still great.
So tell me what's going on. Why are you not having the best day?
I did wake up early.
Okay.
I went to an ATM.
Mm-hmm.
Discovered that ATM wasn't working.
Mm-hmm.
Forgot that I didn't eat breakfast. Forgot that my phone wasn't on.
Mm-hmm.
And that the battery was very low.
Mm-hmm.
I walked outside, discovered it was cold.
And then what else? What else is bothering you this morning?
I gotta go meet with my personal trainer later today. I'm wondering how I'm gonna do that without a car. And then gotta go to work later today.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta write some emails up.
Sounds like a typical type of day, but just a little rough in the morning, it sounds like.
Yeah, I wish the coffee was stronger.
Yeah. We always wish coffee was stronger. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry, I don't have any crack in my coffee today.
Oh, dang. Do I have to go to Mesa to find the crack in coffee?
Maybe. That would be actually a great business idea venue. If only crack was legal. I mean, I think it is. I mean, sugar is crack, really, I think.
It's the legal crack.
Yeah, exactly. We seem to be right here with each other. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So besides, the rough hiccups this morning, well, what brought you in today? Why did you want to do a therapy session?
Just have somebody to talk to.
Okay. And what is it that you want to talk about? Is there something in particular?
I guess things in my life.
Like what?
Well, I do wonder if I'll ever get to the successful point in comedy.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then I think about my relationship with my parents. And then I think about I just recently discovered my sexuality is fluid, but I don't talk about that enough. I love that dog, but I don't know how to tell that dog. I'm sorry.
Okay. So let's start with your sexuality being fluid. Tell me exactly, what does that mean?
I'm still trying to figure that out. I mean, I never really thought I was straight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, growing up, I never really seemed to be interested in relationships.
Okay.
So...
What were you interested in?
Nothing really.
I mean, were you interested in like some sort of sport or maybe a class activity or
Yeah, I was interested in activities I was doing like dance and band.
Okay. What instrument did you play?
I used to play the saxophone. A couple of
No way,
saxophones.
me too. Which one though?
Alto saxophone, tenor saxophone.
I played the alto as well. I wish I could just pick that shit right back up and be like...
I wish my saxophones were working again.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Well, that's cool. We have something
And then
in
I
common.
also used to play guitar. And then I stopped doing that.
Okay. So you're a creative person then, for sure. I mean, you have to be if you're in comedy.
Yeah.
So you said you weren't interested in relationships. When was the first time you found yourself interested in another individual other than yourself in maybe a romantic way?
I'm guessing it had to be around 2015.
And how old were you at that time?
I was 20.
Okay.
And it was a It was a close friend.
Was it a female, a male?
Well, it was a male.
Okay.
But that's when I didn't have... I keep forgetting, like, I had my first kiss at 19, but it was with a married woman.
Oh.
But it was for this failed sketch comedy thing. From, long story short, the guy that recruited several of my classmates and I from an acting class that I was just taking just to have credits.
Mm-hmm.
He was holding them at this hookah lounge, these rehearsals.
A hookah lounge or a hooker lounge?
Hooker lounge.
Hookah, like
Hookah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Hookah. It's a morning.
Mm-hmm.
So we're at the hookah lounge, and instead of writing stuff down, we were just making shit up off the top of our heads
Mm-hmm.
by just acting out random ideas. And this woman, this married woman, she has an idea that she and I are going to play lovers who are old lovers who are trapped in a car and we can't get out
Mm-hmm.
because we're seniors and we're very horny seniors. And we just happen to be stuck in the missionary position.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, I'm going to be the man, and you're going to be the woman. And we're lying down on this couch.
Mm-hmm.
And she does the dry humping thing. And someone else is calling 911 like, oh, these seniors are stuck in a car, they can't get up.
Mm-hmm.
They got up in a different way. And in the middle of that, a kiss happened.
Oh, okay. And it was kind of like improv, or was it scripted, or?
It was improv.
Okay. And did she initiate the kiss? Did you initiate the kiss?
She
Okay.
initiated the kiss.
And how did that make you feel, even though you were like in character in that moment?
Flustered? Maybe the right word?
Mm.
Flustered.
I feel like
Shocked.
flustered. I feel like when someone's flustered, there's irritability there. Were you irritable, or?
No, I wasn't irritable. It's more like a shock.
Okay. Maybe a little embarrassed.
Yeah,
Okay.
the kiss was nice.
It was nice. So you enjoyed it.
I did.
Okay. And then, so after that happened, was that when you started to wonder about your sexuality?
I was wondering why I never seemed interested in anybody at the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I know people my age that talk about having high school crushes, and I'm like, I've never had that. I knew people in high school that were high school lovers that broke up eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I never seemed to care.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, society puts, kind of like these rules and timelines on us, like, oh, be married by 22 and have kids by 25, and everyone's on their own thing. And just because you didn't have any love interest, honestly, I think that's a good thing. A lot of people don't focus on themselves. A lot of people don't even know themselves. How can you be in a relationship and love someone else when you don't even know yourself and what you like? And some people don't even love themselves and are in relationships. So I hope you're not looking at this as a bad thing. It's definitely not. I think you have such an advantage, for one, of finding what it is that you truly want as you're trying to figure it out, and two, as you said earlier, getting that success in your comedy because you're so focused on yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you want to talk more about this? Is there something?
I mean, sure.
Okay. So
I've always had people approach me. I've never been the one approaching people until like a couple of years ago.
Okay. So when was the first time you approached someone?
I approached somebody on a bus and I handed him notes asking him what book he was reading. And he would hand me a note back and write on it and tell me the name of the book. And from there we were just exchanging these little notes on the bus. until we got each other's phone numbers.
So how long were you guys exchanging notes? Was this in one setting or was over time?
This was one setting.
Okay.
One setting, one bus ride.
Was
then
this
we
in
went
high
on a couple
school
of dates.
or?
No. This was like 2017.
Okay.
I'm past high school at this point.
Mm-hmm. Then you went on a date.
Then we're on some dates. And, this person is currently my boyfriend, so.
Oh, so you are in a relationship now.
Yes.
Okay, great. Cool. And check that out. First time you approach someone. So, you guys are in a relationship now, and how long have you been in this relationship?
2 years.
Okay, and since you've been in this relationship, you've been getting approached by people?
It seems to be happening since I've lost a lot of weight. I used to be fatter. Then I started working out. I went to a kickboxing gym up in Glendale.
Mm-hmm.
Then I traded that for a boxing gym in Scottsdale.
Mm-hmm.
And I've managed to lose over 70 pounds.
Congratulations.
Yeah, there's ups and downs to that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there are more downs than ups. Maybe it's because I'm a woman, but it's not. I have men trying to get my attention a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those men, though, they do in a way that's very harassing.
Mm-hmm.
The wolf whistle, particularly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's just been 1 week where 2 different occasions I've been wolf whistled at the same spot.
Oh, wow. This is while you're at the gym, or?
No, this is while I'm on the street walking to Walmart.
Mexicans.
Yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the one guy that wolf whistled at me was definitely a white guy.
Oh.
In a Jeep.
Some Mexicans look white, though. Did they say "whata" after the whistle?
They didn't say any. They were just driving away as soon as they wolf whistled, you know?
Yeah.
Also, yeah, I know some Mexicans look white. I've met them.
Yeah. I can completely relate to you. I've had a lot of wolf whistles in my time, and it's just something about it, right? This rage just comes inside of you, and you just want to, what the fuck are you whistling at? You know? I want to do that a lot.
I had a joke where I said, like, oh, this is where I think I should have a gun.
I mean, it is the Wild Wild West.
Just shoot at cars.
Yeah. So, do you like the attention that you're getting? Do you like some of it, not all of it?
I don't like all of it. I mean, because it feels like recently everyone's got something to say about my body. You know, some people are trying to be positive about it, like, wow, you look so much better, look at the process you're making. Some people are negative about it, like my own mother, who's like, well, if you just lose some back fat here, some other fat here, you'll look great. Then you can get rid of your double chin.
Does your mother understand that you can't target where you lose the weight? Does she understand that?
If she doesn't, that's not on me.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, you can't. I was a personal trainer myself for a number of years, and you can't target where you lose fat. You can target where your muscles grow, but you can't target where you lose fat.
Or you could just target where your fat is by going to a surgeon.
Yes. You could definitely do that.
They can target the fat. They're like, let's draw here,
sounds like,
there.
I mean, you did bring up the relationship with your parents earlier. Okay, before we move, I would like to talk a little bit more about that. But before we do get to that, so it's interesting because you know, the first time you approached a man, obviously you caught that man, so to speak, and you've been together for 2 years now. So when exactly was it that you started maybe feeling attractions towards women or thinking that you're quote-unquote fluid?
I think it started happening after the weight loss. And realizing Oh, women are cuter than men sometimes.
Oh, totally. Mm-hmm. So, would you say that it's more of an adoration for women and their beauty, or do you find yourself wanting to maybe you're fantasizing about women, or
More on the fantasy side.
okay, that's awesome. I find myself fantasizing about women from time to time as well. And is it a particular woman, or I mean, what is it that you're fantasizing about?
I don't know exactly. I mean, because it's always a different woman, so it's never the same woman.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe companionship.
Okay. Because women know women better, kind of a thing, or
Maybe.
okay. And have you ever engaged with a woman romantically, or has it just been purely fantasies so far?
Purely fantasies.
Okay. Well, I don't think that's anything that you should feel confused about or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fairly normal. Our souls, they don't really have a gender. I don't know what you believe as far as afterlife or what happens when we leave here, but there are some theories that we are reincarnated, and before you reincarnate you get to decide whether you come back as a male or a female to learn certain lessons that you didn't learn in the life before. But your soul, it has no gender. So I know that seems like kind of a cliche thing or something a gay person would say, but it makes sense, right? It makes sense when you think about these people that, struggle because society has these gender roles that we had to fit into. But at the end of the day, it's your life, and that's all that matters is if you're happy. Have you expressed this to your boyfriend and thought about exploring it together?
We talk about it.
Yeah. And he seems pretty open and receptive to it. I mean, what man wouldn't be, but
He likes when I talk about stuff, and he's like, "Oh, fire!" But we haven't actually planned anything like a threesome.
yeah. Well, sometimes threesomes aren't planned. You can plan them if you meet someone on board, but sometimes it just happens. But I think you should explore it, especially if your boyfriend is being open, and see how it makes you feel,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you should explore that a little bit. So tell me about your relationship with your parents.
Sometimes it's okay, and then sometimes they get mad
Really?
at me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. My dad told me that regarding my mom, it's like it's hard to please her, so
Are they still married?
They're still married.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then, I keep wondering whether or not I should mention what my mom said about my dad, but then I'm like, it's a private conversation. I don't know.
Okay. So you said sometimes it's okay. So is there something in particular that happened that maybe caused you some trauma?
Well, I did grow up around two siblings that both have severe autism.
Okay.
And there were times where my brother was prioritized over me.
Are you the youngest, middle?
I'm the middle.
Okay.
I was the middle.
Mm-hmm. So there's another one?
No. When I say I was the middle, I'm basically saying my brother's dead now.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And now I realize, with my brother being dead, the question of how many siblings do you have, that seems harsh when you have a sibling that died, and it's like, well, how do you answer that? Do you now say you're the oldest, or you like, oh, I was the middle, now I graduated the oldest, but I used to be the youngest as well, blah, blah, Uh,
I think you can say whatever you feel is right. I mean, here, this is a good setting. You should feel open to speak to me about whatever it is you wish. But when you're out there with strangers or whatever, if you don't want to open up those cans of worms, you don't have to. It's really no one's business.
right.
So if you don't mind me asking, how long ago was your brother's passing?
2 years ago, too.
2 years ago. Okay. So you think that your parents are still struggling with that a little bit?
Yeah, and I still struggle with it myself.
And do you find that since his passing, your parents have been more difficult, or?
In a way, I think they've invested so much in loving him and taking care of him. And in a way, his life was wasted, but that's not his fault.
Well, it's hard to say sometimes, but when you look at the bigger picture, life and death, those unfortunate experiences of losing a loved one, there is a bigger picture behind it, Everyone has their time, everyone has their contract on when their time is up here, and then there are lessons for all of us to learn as well after that person passes. And it sounds like, I don't know a ton about your parents, but if you're saying your mother is hard to please, she's never really...
She really loved my brother unconditionally, and that was because he was a very easygoing, sweet, charismatic young guy.
But your mother should also love you unconditionally, too.
Yeah, but she also compares me to my dad's mom, because my dad's mom decided not to have open arms with my mom back when they were dating. My dad's family has been meh about my mom, and that's really hurt her because she's really wanted an extended family. So, but my dad's mom in particular has been nasty towards her and telling her some crap that they don't talk now, but it still obviously affects my mom. And then she chastises me for being like her, and I'm like, but I didn't have a relationship with her. I could have. But back to when I was like 2 years old, I believe. I don't remember much about this, but apparently my dad's parents decided that they were going to take a child to Mexico, and they had a house all set up, and my cousin's mom approached my mom and told her, like, oh, they have a girls' room set up in Mexico. Are they going to take my daughter? And it turned out my dad's parents called Child Protective Services to claim that my parents were making my brother act up and act disabled so that they can take me away from my parents, and then my dad's parents can take me and bring me to Mexico. Wow.
And who told you this story?
My parents.
Your parents told you this story. Okay. Do you like to read?
I do.
Okay. So...
a book I read is called Mostly Dead Things.
Mostly Dead Things?
Mostly Dead Things. So it's about this lesbian woman. She's kind of like a guy in that she doesn't open up and, is afraid of needing people, emotionally unavailable. Her dad dies. He owns a what's that thing with the animals scarring?
I'm not sure.
Taxidermy?
Oh, taxidermy.
Taxidermy. See, it's the morning, and I can't. But yeah, that. They own a shop where they have dead animals around, and they're not all for sale. And then the woman's mother decides oh, I'm gonna explore sexual fantasies that I didn't get to have when he was alive, so I'm gonna explore with these animals. And puts up an art display. Then the protagonist falls in love with a woman that's also working with her mom on these displays.
Interesting.
And there's also like reminiscing of her brother's ex-wife, who was also involved with her, and then her young nephew and niece are involved in the business.
Interesting. So when you read this book, did any interest of bestiality come into
No.
mind? Okay, just curious. Okay, so I'm glad that you like to read books. So I want to recommend a book for you, okay? So since we earlier talked about the sexual fluidity, and I encourage you to, explore whatever might interest you, since you have such an open and honest and understanding boyfriend. I think that's a very healthy relationship. You could explore some things. Regarding your parents, there is a book I would like you to read. It is called The Way of the Superior Man by David Daida. And even though it's talking about a man, women can read it too. There is a particular chapter that I think would help you with your relationship with your parents, and it talks about living your life as if your father has died, and the things that you would do if your parents were dead and they could no longer judge you or give you an opinion. And that is really how you should be living your life. Because when we worry about what our parents might think and what so-and-so might think, we're really being codependent when we should be living our truth at all times. So whenever you get the time, I would like you to read that book. And the other thing that I would like you to do is maybe write a letter to your parents. So you don't have to give it to them, but write a letter about maybe all the instances or things that they have said that have upset you, and forgive them for it. And then moving on in your relationship with your parents, whenever they do give their opinion about something, and I don't know if you guys argue or whatever the nature of your relationship is when your parents bring up their issues or things that they get mad at you about. When they do decide to share what I call unsolicited opinion, you didn't ask for it, they just throw it on you. Instead of getting upset or flustered or frazzled about it, you can say, Mom, Dad, I love you. Thank you for your opinion. I will consider it, and end the conversation. It's a teaching, it's a Buddhist teaching, a way of life, not letting other people's reflections affect your life, okay? So maybe start practicing that. You could start practicing it with strangers, Say you accidentally cut someone off on the freeway, or whatever, someone says, hey, fuck you, or that's my parking spot, or whatever, You can just say, thank you for your opinion, I'll consider it. It's a nice way to be an asshole, pretty much, okay? So those are a couple of things, a couple self-work assignments I'm going to give you today. But we have a little bit more time. And so I do want to touch base on the other topic that you brought up really quickly, about your success in comedy, which tends to be a very popular topic here in this room, considering all my clients are comedians. So let's start with telling me, what does success mean to you in the comedy industry?
I think having someone else book my stuff and then I just go and perform.
A manager.
Like a manager, yeah.
Okay. So, and is there anything else that you would consider success?
Having enough income from comedy where I can comfortably quit the job I'm doing.
Okay. And would you only want to do live stand-up performances, or are there other avenues in comedy that you're pursuing as well?
There are other avenues I want to pursue. I'm currently in a sketch. We're still filming it.
Okay.
I wanted to do writing.
Okay.
Lone sketches, short films.
Short films. Awesome. Okay, great.
Late night writing. I want to have a late night stand-up debut. in the age of everybody wanting to have a Netflix special, I want a late night stand-up debut.
Okay.
I feel like I have a show in mind, and it's the perfect fantasy of Stephen Colbert being like, it's Kate Burrell, and then everybody loves me.
That's awesome. I'm so glad that you have the visualization going already, because that is the first step, really, is visualizing, right? I think, for one, having a manager is it's something that you can definitely get. One thing that I want to tell you is just don't stop. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep writing the sketches. Get those up on YouTube or, TikTok, whatever those things may be. Keep putting that stuff out there, because viral and on the internet, that's going to be the quickest way for you to get an audience, right? Rather than performing at a club and maybe there's only 10 people that night or whatever. So doing that stuff, offering to help write sketches for other comedians, even jokes for other comedians. Make sure you're getting that credit, and then work towards that dream of that late night stand-up debut. You can create your own show. Think about all the resources that you have. Create a team. How long have you been doing comedy now?
3 years.
Okay, 3 years. So I'm sure you've met a lot of people in that 3 years, right? And as you get to know people, you find out who's good at what, and who's good at this, and who's good at that, right? On top of that, as you're doing shows, you meet bookers and people that can book you for things. Have you ever done like a comedy festival or anything like that before?
I haven't. I've submitted to comedy festivals.
Good. Keep doing that. Usually those open up a lot of doors for management, and then on top of that, you're getting to do a little bit of traveling, depending on where you're submitting to the comedy festivals as well. Gives you more experience. I know when I've done comedy festivals, I usually come back home with, more bits to work on, ideas flooding and things like that. A lot of comedy festivals, you can pick up management that way. And the income, that is just, I still haven't, made enough income to quit my day job. I mean, that's why I'm here helping you. But just keep doing it. If someone is offering you a spot on the show, are you asking, what the pay is going to be? Are you saying what your rate is?
I'm already assuming, because so many people I'm working with can't pay comedians, I'm assuming that it's already free.
But don't ever assume is what I'm saying. Always ask, yes, I'm interested. And before you say yes, just say, yes, I'm interested. Send me the details. What is the pay? If there's no pay, you can ask for gas money, just something that's going to pay for your time, right?
Right.
That's going to establish you as a professional comedian. Not our time's not free. So always ask, and especially if you're talented and you doing great jokes, and especially since you mentioned you do clean comedy as well, right? Yeah, clean comedy is a good place to make money too. So don't ever be afraid to ask. Ask for the booking, ask for the pay, but just keep doing what you're doing. They say that, I think it was Joe Rogan and a couple other comedians that say, you're really not going to be making money until you've been doing it at least 10 years, so just keep trucking away at it. Okay?
Okay.
Anything else that you want to talk about today?
Sometimes I wonder if I need more friends.
What makes you wonder that?
Well, I mean, maybe more friends isn't what I mean. Maybe more close friends. Close friends, and talk about close friends and talk to them. And I always try to find friends. It's hard having friends as an adult. I grew up lonely as a kid, and now as an adult, I'm trying to find people that I can relate to myself. And I don't always go to comedy to find those friends. Sometimes I go to the gym and I try to find those friends, but that's hard.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that you have the potential of making good friends. I mean, looking at, the fact that you approached your boyfriend initially, right?
Yeah.
And you reap that reward. So, keep putting yourself out there. If you meet someone that you like, usually we're attracted to people that are relatable to us, right? Or maybe someone that we want to be like, or maybe someone that's in a place in their life that you want to be at. So maybe look at it like this. Maybe start with maybe trying to find a mentor. Do you have a mentor in your life?
No.
So maybe finding a mentor, and it could be in any subject that you're trying to pursue. Maybe it's a mentor in school. Maybe it's a mentor in comedy. Maybe it's a mentor in fitness, whatever that may be. Maybe start looking at finding people that you feel like are maybe doing a little bit better than you and you would like to be there. And that's a really good way to start a relationship. And then actually asking that person, hey, can you mentor me in this? A lot of people are taken back by that because they're like, oh, wow, it's a humbling experience. Imagine if someone were to came up to you, maybe they just started doing comedy 2 months and they asked you to mentor them, right? You'd probably be a little taken back like that. Like, wow, this person thinks very highly of me, or at least enough to ask me to help them, right? And that kind of opens up like this soft spot in that person to want to help you, coddle you, be there for you, and be a friend. And that is one way to start a really good relationship. I've had a handful of mentors in my life that had turned into being very, very beautiful, strong friendships who are the closest people in my life. So maybe try that approach on top of, it can be a little hard trying to find friends at the gym, but you can definitely find them. I've made lots of really great friends at the gym, partly because I worked in one for such a long time, but, but yeah, and,
Is that what I need to do? Work in one for such a long time?
No,
I could just pretend to be there. I could sit behind a desk and be like, I'm a receptionist for the day.
Or you could just put in more time working out, maybe an extra hour a day or an extra workout a week or whatever, more time you spend there, you're going to see more people there,
Or not to get too crazy, be like, I'm going to spend a night at the gym. This is my new home.
You could definitely do that for sure.
I already paid the rent.
But, and striking up conversations, complimenting people, honest compliments. If you see someone's workout gear and you think it's cute, say something, break the ice, just be open. But you don't need too many friends, Kate. You also want to be careful about who you let in your circle and who you let in your life. If someone is not bringing joy into your life or someone's being negative, then you have the right to cut them out, including your parents. It might be hard to cut your parents out of your life, but creating boundaries with those people that aren't pushing you to be the best person that you are meant to be, or anyone that is making you feel negative about yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, darling, I think you're in a good place. It seems like you're very aware of what's going on in your life. And I think...
also seem to be aware of whether or not I'm being a negative influence in anybody's life. Unintentionally, though.
Sometimes...
I mean, not everyone gets my sarcasm whenever I talk to them.
Oh, I completely understand. Sometimes there are people that are on different vibrations than you. There are people that are in different stages in your life than you. And, if someone feels that you're being a negative person in their life and they explain that to you, then...
What if they don't? What if they just don't say anything and then...
If you believe that you are being the best person you can be towards that person, then that's all that you can do. If they're not willing to speak up about how you're making them feel, then that's on them. So don't spend too much time in your head worrying about what that person thinks. That person cares enough about you and your relationship, or cares enough about themselves to speak up, then they will, right? Mm-hmm. But if you feel like you're honestly being the best person that you can be, and you're treating that person as you would yourself, right?
Right.
Then there's really nothing you can do. So try not to think too much about the things you can't control. Make sense?
Makes sense.
All right. So thank you so much for coming in today, Kate. Before we leave, our audience would probably like to know how they can get in touch with you.
I would like to know that too. I still need to get a website. I'm embarrassed to say that, but...
Are you on any social media?
I'm on Instagram.
Awesome.
Unfortunately, I haven't been using it in a while because sometimes I don't know what to really post or if people really care about posts. Like, I've noticed promoting shows and things on Instagram, people seem to brush by it, but if you post something very stupid, more people will notice. And
the silly thing about Instagram, right?
And it's not just Instagram, it's like Facebook as well.
I know. Well,
like Facebook stories. I used to promote shows in Facebook stories and hardly anybody was paying attention. Once I started posting stupid stuff like, oh, I need more coffee, or look at this stupid face I did, more eyeballs started paying attention to my stories. So
well, maybe the followers out there would like to follow you on Instagram. So what's your Instagram handle?
Kate Borrell takes photos.
Kate Borrell takes photos. Is it Borrel?
L.
2 L's and 2 R's.
Yeah.
All right. Takes photos.
Yeah.
Perfect. You do photography as well?
No, it's just a random handle.
Oh, okay, because it's IG. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're on Facebook as well?
Yeah.
You guys can find Kate on Facebook and Instagram. And if you'd like to learn a little bit more about Kate, feel free to visit our website at www.lifecoachingcomedians.com. Thank you so much for listening today. And don't forget that on Thursdays, we do therapy. Namaste.
Well, I did almost fall asleep in that chair. It's so comfortable. It doesn't even feel like a chair that came from IKEA. Oh, you mean, Lexi. Well, I'll be back to see her. I'm very thankful my allergies weren't acting up, so maybe I'm not as allergic to therapy as I thought.
Oh, Kate. She's probably one of my most interesting clients. I definitely want to do a little bit more work with her. I really want to see where this sexual fluidity, where it goes, and help her develop that a little bit. She seems to be like she's trying to figure things out and try to keep her away from the bestiality books. But other than that, I mean, she's a very nice young lady, and who knows, maybe it can help her to spice up her love life a little bit, but definitely going to have to work a little bit more on the relationship with her mother and her father. But yeah, I hope to see Kate back into my office.